Happy Thursday, all you freight masters. For those of you that are new, my name is Tim, and basically we have obviously the YouTube channel. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We're going to be looking to add some additional platforms as well in the near future. We also have the truckersresource.com and freightbrokerresources.com. So on today's episode, basically what I want to talk about, this is part two of what I talked about the other day in regards to vetting, running credit checks, all of these things. The other day we did the video on what brokers can do due to a situation that I kind of brought up last week. But I felt that it needed a little bit, that I needed to elaborate on it a little bit more. Excuse me. And so it seems like this is emails, phone calls, DMs that I'm getting more and more of lately. And it is basically, Tim, I did a load. I think I got double brokered, yada, yada, yada. Or, I've run into, I've been doing 15 loads with this broker and now, they're not paying me. So while I can't go into names and specifics at this point in regards to the situation last week, but this is kind of a prime example of what could essentially make or break your business, right? Like we've been in a freight recession for what, the last 22 to 24 months essentially. And so with that, and it always seems to happen more so during a down market with the double brokering and things like this. Double brokering's been around for, a long time. Difference being is that back in the day, carrier A would get the load, double broker it to carrier B, but they would still pay them, right? Not the case anymore. We've got all these foreign entities that are doing business in the U.S., using virtual offices, things like this. And it's a shame that I even have to do this video. But because of the amount of contacts that I'm getting from owner operators and small fleet owners primarily in regards to this situation, I felt that this again kind of bared worth repeating, and I kind of wanted to go over this with you. By the way, I do have the live chat open, so if anybody has any questions, anything that they would like to comment on this, as I kind of go along, feel free. All right. So first and foremost, you see a load on the board, and let's say the average lane rate is, spot rate on that particular load is $2,750, but you see it listed for $4,200, right? I'm not saying don't call on it, but maybe look up who that broker is. Make sure that they have broker authority, right? That it's still active. You cannot rely on the FMCSA anymore. Okay, I brought this up a while back when I first started talking about double brokering, because there is a lag in their system with even legitimate brokers that are going under, that their bonds have been filed on, and there's so many carriers that have filed on it that it's done before it starts, right? But first and foremost, let's make sure that they have actual broker authority. Next thing is you call that broker, and they say, let's say it's the end of the day, it's 4:30, 4:45. They say, yep, got this load, blah, 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 one pick, one drop. You're thinking, man, this is like, I need this, right? I'm going to get $4,200 on this load, on a lane that's paying $2,750, right? That's the spot average. So, you're thinking you're going to make a pretty decent rate per mile. This is really going to help you out, but in the long run, it's probably not, right? There's no special requirements on it. It doesn't require, it's not high value, nothing like that. Let's just, for all intents and purposes, let's just call it a straight palletized load of widgets. Okay. Load value is about 75,000. Okay. Because it's the end of the day, the broker says, hey, yep, let me get you over a rate confirmation. You say, well, I'm not set up with you. Oh, all right. Well, let me get you over the rate confirmation, but we'll get you set up in the morning. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Until then, that is a big red flag. Never, ever, ever. I plead with you. Don't ever accept a load without being set up with the broker first, right? In addition to that, you should be running that broker or even that direct shipper, because we've got scams with these people posing as shippers to, and reaching out to brokers and carriers, saying, hey, we've got these loads, and you'll pick it up, and then come to find out that they're not actually the shipper, right? So run that through your factoring company, which, as a quick sidebar, if your factoring company is not providing value to you aside from processing your invoices, you should leave. If your factoring company has an overcomplicated contract that, you have to notify them 90 days prior, they have to have receipt of delivery that you want to leave, all these, hoops and hurdles and red tape that you have to run through, you should try to get away from them as quickly as possible, right? This is why we've partnered with Operfi. Operfi puts effort into your success. Aside from, like I said, they're not trying to reinvent factoring, but they do provide value. They've got training, they've got resources, all kinds of things to help you out in your entrepreneurial endeavor. Okay? Because when you grow, they grow, right? They don't have an overcomplicated contract. They're completely transparent. And on top of that, these people have real industry experience. Just like Danny, if you haven't checked out his channel, be sure to check it out. Holland Cash, right? A lot of great information over there. It would behoove you to check out his channel, like, share, subscribe, because invaluable information over there. Danny is obviously one of the rock stars over there, and he's just a tremendous wealth of knowledge to draw from. So definitely check them out. But if any of this touched a nerve with you about factoring and you need to switch factoring companies, reach out to me. Okay? It costs you nothing to talk to the people over at Operfi. But make sure that your factoring company is providing value to you besides just processing your invoices. Make sure that they're putting your success, right, at the forefront of everything. Okay, moving on. Make sure that you're running credit checks. Okay, run that credit check. If that load can't be factored, and you're using a factoring company or using some other form of running credit, don't take the load. Right? Don't take the load. I hear it so many times. Well, Tim, I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Okay. I try to be a nice guy. This is business, right? And I'm not saying be mean or ruthless, but this is business. You have got to protect yourself. Okay? If at any point in time the whole scenario with the load seems fishy, if you get a rate confirmation that doesn't look legit, right? Looks like somebody that needs a helmet and oven mitts on, that they put it together. Don't do it. These are all red flags that you should be avoiding. Okay? One of the other things that I want to bring up, and again, this is not going into other specifics about, thriving or surviving, but these are some basic things that it seems like is happening more and more and more and more, or I wouldn't be bringing it up. Right? It's common sense that you would follow things to, right? I get these calls because people get complacent or they try to be too nice. Right? And I'm not picking on anybody. Things happen, right? I make mistakes. You make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. We're all human. But try to have a plan, right? A protocol that you follow when booking a load, right? And this even goes into when you're signing the carrier setup agreements, checking for that accessorial section in there. If there's nothing in there, you are at their mercy if you run into detention or layover, which brings me to something else. I do this for my own self when I prospect customers. I check their Google reviews. If I see that they've got 2 stars out of 5, right? Why is that? Is it disgruntled employees? Is it drivers that are picking up or delivering to these locations? And that's the part that I'm really watching for, right? If I see that they've got 115 reviews or even 30 reviews, and you see, I sat here for 7 hours, and I still don't have a dock yet, right? I still don't have a door, and I start to see that, more and more through those Google reviews, I'm probably not calling that them as a prospective customer, right? Because that's going to be a headache not only for me, but to you. And there's something going on with their operations, that they're overbooking or something, right? But they need to get their operations in place. They've got to get it fixed. And until that happens, I'm not sending one of my partner carriers or one of our company trucks in to load or deliver to one of those facilities, because it's going to be a headache from the word go. I'm going to end up with a driver calling me going, Tim, it's been 4 hours. They're saying there's still 6 trucks ahead of me, right? And if you've got a pickup appointment and a delivery appointment, and there's no way you're going to make delivery now, your delivery appointment because of that, you need to contact your broker. You need to contact your broker. Don't wait until morning. Send them a text message. Everything that hey, how's it going? Yeah, it's been a fabulous week. Just kind of going over some things as a result of some of the phone calls that I've been flooded with here lately, and some of the landmines that hopefully drivers and carriers can avoid that are costly. So yeah, watch out for those shippers and receivers with bad Google reviews, right, before you prospect them. And actually, speaking of eCarrierCheck, as a matter of fact, they are a fabulous resource to find direct customers, right? Look up reviews. It's a CRM, right? They've got a ton of features over there. We just had them on the show, 2 weeks ago. So if you missed that video, go back and check that out. Fabulous. Those guys are rock stars over there. Just a very tremendous platform that is, again, invaluable. So check those Google reviews, right? And ask your broker when you're booking the load, where the load is picking up and where it's delivering, right? Maybe you can do a quick check on that shipper and that receiver ahead of time. And like I said, those Google reviews will tell you a lot, right? As far as, how long you have to wait to get a door predominantly, and things like that. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. I've got like 3 different things going on in my head at the moment. But that in turn, and even if you do decide to take the load, but your broker's detention policy, layover policy in their carrier agreement is not stated, then you probably don't want to accept at least that particular load, right? Because that can be costly, right? If you have to sit and wait 6-7 hours to get a door to get loaded, or even if you get a door and it takes them 5 hours to load you, time is money, right? But don't be in such a rush to take the load, because we all know that freight volumes are down, right? There's just not the abundance of freight that we're normally used to. There is still freight out there, obviously, but build your relationships. If you're trying to thrive on the spot market right now and have been, and you're getting close to the end, if it's not too late already, you should start building those relationships with brokers and direct customers, right? And this is where eCarrierCheck can help. If you're tired of running loads for brokers, hey, maybe either go be one, start up a brokerage, in addition to your trucking company, or go get your own direct customers. If you need help getting direct customers, I've got tons of videos on that. A lot of it's the same approach as it would be for brokers, right? So check out those videos, but do your due diligence, right? Danny talked about this the other day. I talked about it last week, and I'm bringing it up again now, and for good reason, because in the example that I had last week with that one particular carrier, they now it's already reached its 30-day mark, and now they're going to have to wait even longer for their money, right? And they were primarily getting by on quick pay, right? And this is why they didn't call their or check with their factoring company, because they thought, I'll just quick pay it. Don't do it. These landmines, these scammers, double brokers, phishing schemes, all of this stuff. This is why I took cybersecurity training a few weeks ago to kind of brush up on that and not only protect myself, but to hopefully relay some of that information to help you guys out. All of this is important. They'll steal your identity. They'll destroy your company by double brokering and things. With this one particular instance, the phone number doesn't work. They stop answering emails. They're just gone like a fart in the wind, right? And now they're tracking them down. I don't know if the authorities are really going to follow up and do anything about it or not. They obviously don't seem to be too concerned about it, or they'd be cracking down on double brokering more than they have been. So it's up to you and I to do that, right? So you're going to need something like Go Highway, eCarrierCheck, Carrier OK, one of these things, right? Your factoring company to run credit checks. Check the Google reviews on your shippers and receivers. Check them on your brokers. If you've got your DAT account, they've got a directory right? Check the directory. Look at other carriers' reviews on that particular broker or shipper. Do your due diligence, because it can mean the difference between going under and staying afloat and potentially thriving, right? And don't wait for things to get bad to start building relationships. I don't, I primarily work on the brokerage side. So, my carrier relationships are so important to me, right? Because it's like the Wild West out there right now. Anybody that tells you any difference is full of BS. It is literally the Wild West, right? It's scary. It's scary to book a load with a carrier off of the load boards. It's scary for carriers to book a load with a broker off the load boards. Build your relationships. Don't just survive, but thrive. The better, the more relationships that you have, and strengthening those relationships is going to make all the difference in the world to you. I promise you. Okay. Does anybody have anything that they would like to add? I know I kind of ranted there for a little bit, and I didn't mean to come off like the principal in high school or something, and caught you doing something bad. But it's frustrating when I get call after call and DM after DM and email after email of carriers, running into these situations. And sometimes in my video the other day, some of this could have been stopped if the broker themselves had done their due diligence and properly vetted the carrier that they were giving the load to, and saw that they had multiple double brokering reports, right? Or that they didn't have the equipment type that was required. I don't remember if I mentioned in the video last week, but the carrier that I'm kind of in the process of helping, and I think we pretty much have it resolved, but the originating broker on the load gave it to a carrier that didn't even have a dry van. They didn't even have a semi-truck. They had a dually and a PJ trailer, one of those little trailers that you would use for construction waste or your yard waste. That's all they had. So had that broker done their due diligence, they would not have given that load to that double brokering carrier, right? And given it to the carrier that I assisted. Everything has a trickle-down effect. Everything that we do, whether you're a broker, a carrier, a dispatcher, a shipper, a receiver, everything affects everybody else in some way, shape, or form, right? We're all supposed to be professional. We're all supposed to, be men and women of our word and be transparent and do our jobs the right way, right? Don't try to hide little pieces of information. Oh, if I book this load with this carrier and they find out this, that's, 3,000 pounds heavier than what I told them or something. Don't be upfront with that, right? You destroy relationships. That particular carrier might have been somebody that you could have worked with on the regular, but because now they've got a bad experience with you from the very first load, right? They probably never want to work with you again. It's just like vetting your prospects, right? And this goes for carriers as well. Those of you going out to find your own direct customers. I've had customers that, we've got this partial and it's 8 pallets and 8,200 pounds, right? Okay. So driver shows up and calls me up and says, Tim, we got a problem. I go, what's going on? Well, they want to load 12 pallets. You told me it was 8. I said, well, it's supposed to be 8. I sent the driver the load details that I received from my customer. Customer's response was, well, but we paid for the truck, so we should be able to load what we want on it. No, that's not the way partials work. You asked me to secure a truck for 8 pallet space, right? And now you want to add 12. They more than likely have, other LTLs or partials that are going on that truck, right? So you taking up 4 more pallet space cuts them out of that other one. I said, you either unload the driver, I'll pay him TANU, or just load the 8 and we'll find another truck for the other 4, right? Don't be afraid to tell your customers that what they're doing is wrong. Customer is not always right. Not in this industry, not in retail, right? Overall, I'll finish up with this. Just do your due diligence, right? And it's not that I won't try to help anybody. And if you are needing help, if you're currently in a situation, by all means, reach out to me. I've got links for everything down below. If you don't have DAT, there's a code down there for 10% off for your first year, which actually the savings on that is more than it would be with their old promotion of first month off, right? So you end up saving a little more money. I don't know how much it is exactly off the top of my head, but if you need eCarrierCheck, there's a coupon code in there for them. If you would like to talk to the great people over at Operfi, there's a link down below for that, or email me directly, right? I'll put you in touch with Danny or one of the other people over there. Everything's down there. You guys got questions about anything, even if it's not related to this, feel free to email me, right? If you have suggestions for upcoming videos, by all means. I think we're going to do another prospecting video in the next one, which I may do either tomorrow. I won't probably do a video on Monday because I've got a couple of meetings like back to back that I have. But it'll be sometime between tomorrow and Tuesday that I'll do it. I'll try to give everybody enough heads up on that. But all I'm going to say about it is it's about thinking outside the box and finding some of those shippers, those prospects that maybe not everybody's looking at, right? There's other ways to find these prospects besides ThomasNet, and it takes a little homework on your part, but they're out there, right? So we'll go over that. I think everybody should enjoy it. It can be very beneficial. I've gotten customers by going this route. It's just another way to expand your prospecting search, right? And it's carriers and brokers. So if you're interested in finding your own direct customers, look for that upcoming video. All right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday, a great Friday, great weekend. Again, do your due diligence. Don't fall for these scammers. It literally rests on our shoulders to stop it because the government's not going to do it, right? So, and yes, eCarrierCheck, we do have to jump on another live again soon, for sure. In fact, I was going to email you by the end of the day today to see when you might want to do another one. So, because you guys are awesome. I loved having you on the show, and I can jump on your show or you can come back on mine. I know you guys wanted to stream that with yours as well, and we'll try to figure that out a little bit better next time. All right, guys. Again, I'm rooting for you. All right. Ta-ta for now. Bye-bye.